It's all good.
Says okay, we're live. All right, so we're using a new streaming service today, and we're live. You know, it's today. Kevin is the announcement of 25,000 agents at eXp. Man, what a crazy ride it's been the last couple of years. That's all I can say. It's been the most fun I've had since I've been in real estate now, 22 years. So, but today we're going to flip the script a little bit. Kevin Kravchuk's going to be. He's going to be interviewing me. You're going to ask me some questions, and I'm glad to do this. I'm happy to do this. Hopefully, I'll have some answers, or hopefully, I'll have the right answers. But yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be just fine. I just to start off, though, 25,000. I didn't actually know that myself, so I signed up. I think officially November 1st, and I don't even think there was less than 24,000. So that means in a little bit over a month, we've increased by over 1,000 agents. So
right.
I mean, if that doesn't tell you that we're in the right place and that things are going in the right direction, I don't know what else will. I mean, I'm sure there's not another brokerage in the country that just grew by 1,000 agents in the last 30 days.
I would doubt it. Some of the bigger ones maybe, but I doubt it. I doubt that they're seeing the kind of growth we're seeing here. It's been crazy because you're November 1st. That's my 2-year anniversary. So I've been now at eXp 2 years and a little over a month. So crazy growth, right? So it feels like I've been at eXp a lot longer than that. Just because it just seems like yesterday we were joining and there was just 5,000 agents and everybody thought we were crazy. Everybody, I can't, I'm sure you hear objections and things of that nature is when you're talking about eXp. But back then, the objections were they were all a little bit different, right? Like people would say, "Well, it's a penny stock," and we had one guy tell us, "We've never seen a penny stock ever. I've got friends that are in the investment world, and there's never been a company that's been a penny stock that's ever made it on the big board and been traded on NASDAQ. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. It's just a penny stock. That stock's not worth anything." Well, the stock was worth $3.61. Back then, I don't know what it is today, but it was over $11. So not a bad not a bad run for the last 2 years. But and just different things that people say, right? Like the company's not making any money. That's when I still hear that one every once in a while. It's amazing that we've been able to grow so fast. While losing all this money. And the reality is we're not losing money. We're stacking cash. I think that comes from people that want to mislead, or just have misinformation. I mean, if you look at the 10K, it's obvious that they're, because, and I heard this number yesterday, Glenn had mentioned, or I guess Friday, Glenn had mentioned, the founder mentioned, given, $30 million in equity to its agents in the next year. Right. So, $30 million worth of equity being given to the agents in the company, that's a pretty big deal, right? Like that's a huge number, but it's not that the company loses money. That's actually a paper loss as it gets reported to, as the SEC requires us to report that. It shows as a loss on paper, but it's not a loss in cash. We've been building cash. So the company's no debt, and we own a bunch of stuff, and we own our own technology as far as the world goes and all that, and the cloud. And yeah, man, we couldn't probably be in a better position as a company that's growing this fast. I think most companies are losing money when they're growing this fast.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I sat in today on a meeting about IntroLend, and that we can partner, on the mortgage end now. And what blew my mind too is because most companies, they start their own mortgage company, and then they want the agents to use the new lender that they introduce, or whoever the LO is, and they want you to stop using the LO that you may already had in a relationship with. And these guys have taken that and spun that around. They're like, no, you don't have to stop using who you've been using. Keep using the same LO. And we just figured out a way basically to compensate you for referring your current LO's business, because they're going to run it through, our platform, and, it's totally RESPA compliant and everything else. And you can buy shares into that. And, there's just so many different revenue stream opportunities here. It just totally blows my mind. And I can't be thankful enough that Brian Muir reached out to me and you reached out to me to say, hey, Kev, take a look at what we're doing here. And we'd like to have you come run with us. And man, I'm just super grateful. So just real quick for people that don't know who Jay Kinder is. I mean, you're in the Philadelphia area, Bucks County area. I don't know if there's that many people that actually know who you are, surprisingly, or not. But so just give a little bit of background on who you are and tell us a little bit about yourself, Jay.
I mean, if you don't know who I am, I've been in real estate 22 years. Originally from Lawton, Oklahoma. Usually that usually trumps everything. Nobody knows where that's at, but I was fortunate enough I got into real estate and didn't know what I didn't know and trying to figure things out. Ultimately, found success over time. Ended up being number 2 in the world for Coldwell Banker. I think my best year I sold 531 homes and got really passionate.
Wait a minute. Because you typically when you say that, you kind of just like glance up. Oh yeah, the 1 year I sold 500 homes. Like it's no big deal. Like that's a big deal, man.
Yeah, it was. Back then it was. I mean, this was not long after the Red Book came out. So I think there was maybe one person that had ever sold that many homes at the time. So there was a lot of real estate to be selling. And the crazy thing I always like to point out was I wasn't even number 1 in my own market. I had a Remax team that was selling 700 homes at the same time. So really unique that there was 2 really mega producers in one market as small as Lawton and slugging it out every day. But it was, I learned a lot and building that team. And I learned a lot of valuable lessons in doing it. And we sold probably 400 homes or more every year for 10 or 12 years. So, we were consistently selling a lot of real estate, learned how to do that. And then, my good buddy, Mike Reese, who's also from Lawton, but was living in Dallas. I ran into him, a few years into that when I was having some success and we ran into each other at Lake Texoma. He ends up quitting his job that weekend, getting into real estate. And what was funny was, when you're doing things like real estate, and anybody who's been successful in real estate knows this, like it's not a straight line to success. Everybody's seen that, like the little meme that has like the line, here's success and then here's where you're at. And then there's all these squiggly lines and then, and then it goes to success. That really is actually what success is. That's the path that I took anyways. It certainly wasn't a straight line. I did more things wrong than I did right. And so when somebody asks you, hey, what did you do to be successful? A lot of times, you don't really know, right? Like, well, I don't know. I did a lot of stuff. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. But what Mike had done, being, who Mike is he was very consistent every day asking me from where was that? What should I do next? What should I do next? What should I do next? And that way I was able to say, hey, do this, don't do that. Hire this person, don't hire that person, all that, and he basically built his business to 1.2 million in 3 years, which we were both blown away by. Those numbers, right? And so I think that's when we became passionate, like, hey, if a couple knuckleheads like us could do this, we could probably show anybody how to do it. And we got into the business of coaching and training real estate agents. And fortunately, started a company with a friend of mine that did celebrity endorsements. So we did endorsements with local radio and TV personalities that escalated to celebrity endorsements like Barbara Corcoran, Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, other characters that you might find on different stations and whatnot. And this kind of became known as, helping agents really become dominant in their market. And that's really kind of been kind of our wheelhouse, is taking somebody that's doing 20 or 30 deals and helping them build a real business, not just teaching them how to sell a few more homes, but teaching them how to build a business.
Right. So obviously you had tremendous success. Went on, we're able to, do this coaching company that also had tremendous success. And then, you decide to join eXp, like you said, 2 years ago. Why? How did that come about? And why?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you would think you didn't maybe necessarily need to make a move, but you did.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy how things work, and I think most people probably go through a similar process where when things are really good, you're not really as open to the opportunity as you probably should be as far as looking at things. And so for 2 times in a row, people had brought eXp to our attention and we basically ignored it. I looked at it, I understood, to the best of my knowledge, I understood the model. And I liked some things about the model, but we were an independent brokerage. We were, you know, and when you really think about it, when you're independent, you don't ever think about going back and joining another company. Why would you go pay somebody else any money? That's why you went independent in the first place. And, you know, we had a lot of beneficial things that we were doing from a coaching and training standpoint that we could add value to agents that nobody can compete with us on. And that was kind of always been our edge that we had, was that we could really truly help agents become more successful, and we had a track record for doing so. And we had built a company in doing that, and we were doing 10 million in revenue. So like, there was just no way for us to really make this kind of a switch. At least we weren't thinking about it anyways that way. So we looked at the model and said, okay, we like these things about the model. You know, we should do something like that with what we're doing. And we had started a brokerage in 2016 where we were partnering with agents. We were carrying the heavy load for the agent. And our goal has always been like, how do you help an agent be more productive? So, at the end of the day, if you're looking at this opportunity, if you're an agent or if you're an independent broker, you have a big team, and, it has to be what's best for your agents, or it's not what's best for you. That's the one thing that it has to solve. This has to solve the problem of agent productivity across the board, or it doesn't really work for anybody. And so, our teams, as we had agents on our teams and, these big splits, 50-50 splits and whatnot, the agent productivity, across the board is like, 1.7 to 2 deals per month per agent. Well, that might sound good compared to the average in the industry, because the average in the industry is like, what, 6? Actually, I saw a statistic.
I think it's like 4 for the year.
4. What? Like,
4 or 5 for the year.
Right. And that's, to me, that's evidence that the brokerage model is broken. Like, there's no reason that you should only sell 4. If you're getting into this business and truly have the intention of being successful, that you only sell 4 houses in a year, that's just it's sad is what it is. And so, what the focus has to be around is like, what is going to provide the most value to the agent? How are we going to help agents become more successful? And, the traditional models that are out there today are all about how do you sell, they're just recruiting agents and hoping that they're successful. And there's not a lot of technology that they need. They got to go figure that out and purchase it themselves. They got to purchase their own coaching and training, because the brokerages don't provide that. And then you're paying all these royalties to these companies. As you become more successful, you start looking at other options. But that's the unique thing I think about where we were at the time. We were our promise that we were making to agents is, we're going to partner with you. We're going to come in. We're going to train you to our systems and tools. We're going to do all the done for you marketing, everything that you need to be successful, to become the dominant agent on the listing side of the business. And we're going to run all the Facebook ads. We're going to hire the ISAs. We're going to call. We're going to follow up. We're going to call everyone in that market, in your marketplace that you're in, the market service area, we call it the MSA. And we're going to get you 4 listings per month. And we all know that if you have 4 listings, you're probably going to end up selling 2 or 3 or 4 buyers as well. So it ends up being half your business is buyer, half a seller. But our focus was all around listings. And so we're doing that. We're having success, 270 something transactions, I think, the first year with 10 agents. And it was building and growing fast. It was really fascinating what we were doing. And then we saw eXp, and as we were just kind of crossing over the boundaries of Texas and we went into Atlanta, Georgia, we were starting to feel the pressure of how we were going to structure the entities, all of the entities that we had to set up. The fact that we were partnering with an area partner that was going to help execute the model made things, the real estate piece and who was going to sign what lease, all that stuff started to get real complex real quick. And so
excuse me,
we looked at the model, and one of our good buddies looked at the model and was like, man, this solves a lot of my problems as a brokerage. And I'm thinking this might even be what's best for you guys as well, for partner with what you were doing. And so we looked at it, and man, sure enough, it was just a better way, and I think when you look at something with an open mind, assuming what you're doing is wrong, assuming that there's got to be a better way, you start to see things in a different way. And for us, we saw a way that we could do what we were already doing. It was perfectly in alignment with what we were trying to do. And, ultimately, our vision, the vision, strategic plan for 2,000 partners by December 27th, 2024, that we set in 2014, our 10-year vision was 2,000 partners. We were probably in the less than 100 at the time we moved over, but we're now at over 3,000 agents that we're partnered with at eXp. So we did it in 2 years under this model, what we were trying to do. And, we had already had, I guess, 5 years under our belt, and we're headed towards, trying to get $16,000 in a different model. So that's, that long story short, we saw this was the better way. We saw it as a better platform. We saw it as a better opportunity. We saw what you saw.
And I mean, that's amazing. You grown to 3,000 agents on your team in a couple of years. I mean, that's insane. So, some of the objections I'm sure you've probably heard along the way with those 3,000s, there's some 100% companies out there. So some of them say, well, I'm already making 100%. Why would I want to take less than 100%? I already have an opportunity to get 100%. And, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So it's again, at the surface level, that's a logical response. Well, why would I want to pay? Even if I'm a producing agent and I was going to, for instance, get the 16,000 back in stock, I would just buy it with my 16,000, right? Like, why would I move over to eXp? I think that what you have to look at is you have to look at the opportunity side of it. And either you're making, I know that I do the math all the time. And so you do the math, either you have passive income or you don't. I think the numbers are, you got to make $900,000 after your living expenses and after taxes in order to be able to invest that and get a 4% annual, return that you would, be able to take out of that in dividends. Well, that would be $36,000. So that's $3,000 a month. So to earn a $3,000 a month of passive income, which at the end of the day, you could be at 100% shop or anywhere. But I think what the goal, let's get clear on what we're talking about. The goal is to get to passive income that allows you to have financial freedom. When all your bills are paid for by investments and things that are paying you through passive effort, that leverage is going to allow you to do whatever you want to do. And that means if you want to go sell more houses, go sell more houses. If you want to go to the beach, go to the beach. If you want to do whatever, do whatever. But that's where we're all trying to get to. Like, so let's keep that front and center in terms of the goal. And the goal isn't to just keep 100% of your transactions. The goal is to get to a passive income number that's going to set you free. And when you're looking at it through that lens, then the 100% model provides you nothing. It doesn't provide you support. It doesn't provide you the technology. It doesn't provide you an opportunity to earn a passive income, which without getting into the numbers, it would be a handful of people that you might bring into the company over a period of time, and we're going to help those people do the same thing with the people they know. And there's going to be a handful of people that not just recruit, but they actually attract people to come work at this company. And that's the piece that, that's the piece that you don't have. There's no upside opportunity. There's no exit strategy. There's no end game at the 100% shop. You don't own that company. There's just no, there's nothing in the way of opportunity there. And, and in most cases, I would say there's probably not the level of training, the level of mentorship, the level of quality of people that you're going to be spending your time with that's going to level you up to the next level. So, I say a lot of those things are missing.
That's huge right there. That's huge right there. Who are you around? I mean, my experience, I came from 100% shopping broker owner since 2011. And what I experienced was from being a branch owner and then being a franchise owner is that, you attract really that model attracts usually the bottom of the barrel. The agents that are doing 5 to 10 transactions a year, or who really come there, you're necessarily your agents that are doing 30, 50 transactions. A model like this is actually more attractive because, like you said, you can build other revenue streams and really a way to make more than 100%.
Right.
But when you're doing 5 to 10 transactions, it's like, quite frankly, I mean, one of the things I was going to ask you is what agents don't we want? And my mindset kind of is we don't want the agent that's doing 5 to 10 transactions and is happy. If you're doing 5 to 10, but you want to get to 30 to 100, then come run with us. If you're happy with 5 to 10, this isn't the place for you. You're better off being at 100%.
Right. Yep. 100%. You're 100% right. And I've had that question asked me a couple times. Who is eXp not right for? It's not right for you if you're not serious about this business. If you're not trying to become wildly successful in real estate, then I would rather you just stay where you're at, honestly. And it's not because it wouldn't be better for you, because I still think you would get a lot out of this company from being here. But fortunately, I think who we're attracting at eXp are the people that want more. They want to have more in their life. They want to have more success. they want to do the work that's necessary to become successful, and they're willing to do that work, and they want to be in the room with people that are doing it and have done it. And so, that's the cool thing about it is like, there's not anybody, there's no, in the whole entire group we have, the Facebook group that we have, people that have joined us at eXp. We've had one situation where somebody posted something bitching and complaining. I don't know of any other Facebook group I've ever been in that only has one person bitching and complaining. And so, that I'm impressed by that. The fact that we have people that are, from a right mindset, are wanting to grow and learn, and they're not trying to be victims and place blame and complain all the time. They're people that want to become successful or are already successful, and they realize that, hey, this is a really good group of people to be a part of, and this company is what's provided that platform.
Yeah, and it's been awesome. I mean, I like to use the word, like, the mindset that I'm seeing, with the group in the month is everybody's coming from a place of abundance, and it's a really cool thing to experience and be around. It's something that I've never seen. So, and that's actually leads me to a kind of funny question. The honey badger group, where'd that come from, and why honey badgers, and
yeah. So yeah,
how did you come up with that idea?
I don't know that I told the story of where it came from, but so we used to do these big events called the Exponential Growth Summit, and they'd be somewhere between 500,000 agents would come to the event once a year, and most of we kind of centered around our coaching program and the coaching that we did, and we had we always have people that are going through stuff, right, in real estate, and like if you've been through like 07 and 08, you know what I mean, like that was a really challenging time for me in my business, right? And so like but you have some people that plow through, that push through, and like do the things that need to be done and come out on the other end. And we had all these awards and for production, and we always had these mega producing teams that are always there, and so the production numbers were pretty high to be at the top and whatnot. And then there was one award that everybody wanted to win that we gave away, and it was called the Honey Badger Award. And the Honey Badger Award came with the best story of struggle that that they made it through for the year, and it became the most coveted award that we had. And people, the people that won that award over the 5 or 6 years that we did it, man, they we had a custom made basically gift for them that was related. Like one year it was a big bat that was a honey badger bat. One year it was football helmets that were honey badger was on them, and it just something different that people wanted. They wanted to win that damn award is what it boiled down to. And that all started when the very first video came out about the honey badger don't care, right? The guy that was commentating the honey badger video, and so that's where it started. And that mentality of gonna make it happen, mentality of the honey badger is kind of it runs kind of rampant through successful people, right? I think a lot of people's spirit animal is a honey badger if you're an entrepreneurial soul, and so anyways, it became the Honey Badger group because I think Al had won the Honey Badger Award one year, but Al had basically kind of just like haphazardly named the group, hey, this is the Honey Badger Nation, powered by eXp. And we it was by accident, and then we just ran with it, and everybody seemed to like it. So it's like, well, we're not changing it now. So that's become our label is you're either a part of the Honey Badger group or you're not.
Awesome. So what would you say might be the number one thing that stood out to you about eXp after you joined?
Great question, man. So keep in mind when I joined, there was no Facebook Workplace, right? So, and I would say that the seasons, and it's cool. It's really cool to join a company when you're not the one that has to solve all the problems, which has historically not been where I was in the seat. I was in the seat where Glenn was. So all the problems were there would be, that's what would keep me up at night, and so kind of being on the inside and getting to do what I love and then not have to worry about all the problems was a cool thing to be able to just kind of witness. And there was a lot of little things that were bumps in the road that I noticed that we were encountering, and it wasn't bad. I think beforehand, we weren't in all 50 states when I joined. We were still had some, they had just kind of gotten through a season of getting the agents paid on time. like all these things that you have to work out if you're going to scale nationally or globally at this point. And, 5,000 agents isn't a lot, right? It's just not a lot of agents, and so they're still getting things dialed in. The brokers in every state, some of them were not really on board with the growth. And there was just some little things that I was running into as I would talk to different people, and it was just a different time. So, getting to see all of those things and how they dealt with them. So one thing I would say to answer that question is the thing that was, that made me feel the most warm and fuzzy was how they attacked the problems and they dealt with them head on, and they didn't bullshit around. And that was a big deal because there were some issues of, that were really issues that needed to be resolved.
You go from 5,000 to 25,000 in 2 years, you're going to have growth issues. I mean,
for sure. But I think it was the way they dealt with problems. They're agile. They make decisions, and they don't always make the best decision, but they're always making decisions and moving forward and fixing things. And so that was probably the thing that I recognized the most. And then the other thing, and this is every person I've ever talked to that's joined after they've joined, is the collaboration. I didn't realize, right before we jumped on here, the doorbell rang. Of course, I knew there probably wasn't anyone there. It's this time of year where, packages are being delivered and stuff every day. I was like, man, why is Amazon better, right? Why do I like Amazon? Why? Because I didn't have to go to the store to buy that stuff, man. Somebody delivered it to my house, rang the doorbell for me. I could take 2 steps outside and bring it inside. That's the reason that Amazon as a cloud-based company is better than a retail model where I got to drive to the store. It's just easier. It's just more convenient. And it's the same thing with Netflix and Hulu now, which is what I'm using now is Hulu with Netflix. My kids think of TV as just Netflix. But, it's just better because I don't have to go somewhere to get the content. I can download the content and watch it, binge watch it if I wanted to all at one time. And, when you think about, well, why is eXp's cloud-based model better? Why is because I can get all the training and all the support without having to drive into an office. And that's at the end of the day, it is just better. It's just better if you have a question in the middle of the night and you jump into on your phone to Workplace, and you're in your state group or even your city group, potentially wherever you're at, and you ask a question, there's probably going to be some other knucklehead that's awake that's going to answer that question for you. And it might not be somebody that works for eXp. It might be another agent, or it might be another broker, another broker that's within the state or whatever. But like, you can get answers to things so much faster. You don't have to wait. You don't have to go through this process of, chasing somebody down in the hallway to get an answer. It's just right there in the palm of your hand. And I didn't really truly get that. When I first joined, I didn't really truly get that because I wasn't selling real estate every day. So I wasn't engaging in those challenges, with agents of having, hey, I need to get an answer to this. Where do I go? If they had to wait for me and I was on 4 listing appointments, what I'm saying, as the broker in my office, you may not talk to me today to get your problem answered, and
right.
You kind of have to wait around to get answers. And that's been a big difference at eXp is, you basically post in the group and you're probably going to get an answer, or you can search for the question in the group, which is, 9 times out of 10, it's already been asked for, and you get the answer. Then.
That was definitely one of the things. I think that might be just one of those things that you might not ever really fully get that until you actually experience it. Like we talked about it. I think I've seen some videos before about you guys talking about it. And then even when I first went into the world, I'm like, this is pretty neat. But, it really didn't click until now. I've been here a month. And like you said, when you're starting up, there's so many different things you got going on. And where you could just post a question in Workplace and you're getting an answer from somebody that, again, it's 10 o'clock at night, maybe here on the East Coast. But in California, it's only 7 o'clock at night. And somebody from California is answering my question. Right. Or whatever. Or somebody that's on the other side of the state is... It's just, the collaboration has been something that I've never experienced. And I've been at some pretty cool companies, but nothing like this. Nothing even compares to it. And it's just one of those things I think you really got to experience. And then it really clicks and you're like, now I really get it.
Yeah, it's probably like the number one thing that people hesitate on to join too, right? Like
the office, I hear it all the time.
You're like, man, I'm gonna leave this thing at my office that I've had, and I know the people here, and I know this opportunity is better and everything else. But like, you don't know what it's going to work like, right? You don't know how everything's going to work. And so like, that's the hard part that you got to just get past. Like if you can just get past that and join, you'll see that's better.
Yeah.
And that's why you hear all these agents talking about eXp. Everybody thinks, oh, it's a recruiting model. All these agents are trying to recruit me. They're actually just trying to save you from yourself. Hey, listen, it's really better. I got some stock when I close my first deal. I'm getting some passive income coming in. Like, it's way better. I get answers to questions. I've got all my technologies included. Like, it's just a better deal. You should come join us. Like, that's really what it's all about. I don't think everyone's out there trying to recruit because it's their big opportunity. They're just trying to help you, come see something better.
Yeah, it's about help people. And actually leads me to one of my questions. So, I've heard this just this weekend. I had a guy text it to me. So, he watched one of the videos. Goes, I'm not sure, how eXp can actually help me grow my business. It seems like it's more about recruiting and stocks than it is about actually selling houses. And so, can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah. So, well, depending on the level of production this person is at, the growing your business side of things. I think the people that you run with is everything, right? Who are the mentors? Who are the people that would be in your upline at eXp? What additional coaching and training and do they provide? And how collaborative is that group at like we host weekly training calls with the top agents in our group. I mean, killers that are just doing unbelievable things and teaching that one thing we do really well. Like we have, one interview where we interviewed Julie DeRoches, and I think I always butcher the numbers, but she did roughly 300 transactions. Like 290 of them were from referral, right? Like, I mean, wow. You can learn a lot about referral systems from somebody that's getting that many referrals. And so there's so much to plug into. And of course, we provide a tremendous amount of training and coaching. That's historically what we've done is make people successful in real estate. That's our track record of success. And we give that stuff to anybody that joins us to the eXp. So like there's really either you have have clarity and a plan and a success path where you're at, or you don't. And if you don't, the big challenge in this business is there's so many things that you could be doing. It's about doing the right things in the right order. And I think our mentorship is, as a group, and the coaching and training that we provide to the people that join us is just going to be superior to anything that's out there. And so, yeah, I think, either it's being provided to you or you're going to have to seek it out and find it yourself. I think the difference is at eXp, we have a financial interest in your success and making you successful. So we're going to help you do it. And you're not going to be charging you a ton of money like we used to. We provide that stuff to you when you join us at eXp. So that's just it's a little nuance in the model where like today you look around your office and say, who's got my back, right? Like who's waking up today wanting to help me, ready to help me, willing to help me, thinking about how to help me. And it's like nobody, right? And then at eXp, right. you got an upline of 7 people that wake up every day knowing that their opportunity is making sure that you're successful and the people you bring in are successful, and helping you bring people in is an incentive. You're incentivized to do that. And I basically am getting compensated based on my ability to help you become successful. That's a pretty good deal for people to be coming into a company where people are being compensated based upon your success. And, you put that into a business model, special things happen.
Yeah. And that's what experience. That's one of the things that really attracted me as well is the fact that, typically at most companies, if you had an agent that was doing 300 transactions a year, they're not sharing their secrets with you.
No way.
You know what I mean? Or the agent that did 100 this year, they're like, oh, well, maybe if you join my team, I'll share it with you.
Right.
I'm not sharing. You
right.
figure it out on your own. We're direct competition with each other. Here, it's like we're all aligned financially. Like, so talk about that real quick. So, you mentioned it a little bit. What, if somebody wasn't in business with you and partnered with you at eXp and they wanted to hire you and become involved with NAEA, what would that look like?
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is it was impossible to get me personally,
right?
And that's dramatically different now. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Like I had 50 employees. I woke up every day, 4:30, beat everybody to the gym to get to the office so I could have my first round of 10 meetings. that were me leading people to lead people that were, ultimately working with our clients across the country. And, there was never, it wasn't a part of my day that I was as the CEO was working with my clients. I was far removed from that. And I didn't like that, to be honest with you. That was the part I loved the most, was helping people and talking to people through their problems and helping them grow their business. And so now I'm at eXp. My compensation model now is essentially I make a little bit off of every deal that is of the agents that are in my group. And so I don't have any employees. So I do this all day, or I get on calls. Like, we're going to get on a call right after this, and I'm going to get on a call right after that, and then I have 2 more calls after that. That's all I do is I help. And people go, "Oh, Jay, I know you're busy. I know you're busy. I know your time is valuable." And I do believe my time is valuable, but I'm more available than people realize. And that's because I don't have to manage and lead people all day long. I'm managing and leading the people that are joining us at eXp. And so that's where the bulk of my time is being spent, is actually elbow to elbow with people that are wanting to grow their business and wanting to find more success at eXp.
Right. And that's huge, because that's one of the things I have, I've had to, well, Kev, it's great. Jay contacted you and you can get a hold of him personally, but like, if I join, well, I'm not going to have access to him. Why? And I'm like, no, you're going to have access to not even only just Jay, though. You're going to have access to Mike Reese and Al Stasik and, Brett Gove. Like, you're going to have access to all these, rock stars that want to help you. Like, it's just, it's unbelievable. It really is what it is.
It really is. It really is. For the people that take advantage of it, it is certainly it's an advantage that you get that is rare.
Yeah. So I had just a couple more here. So I sometimes you get this, we're not so new anymore, but I'm sure you dealt with this when you first went 2 years ago. You hear this a lot from the Remax and the Keller Williams people. Nobody's ever heard of them.
Right.
And nobody's ever, like, and really in eXp in my area, it still is fairly new. Like, I think in Bucks County, there's only like 5 of us right now. Which to me was attractive, because
that's a huge
I seek things like that. But
as that's a huge opportunity for you. No doubt. And for anybody for that matter that joins in your area. I think, this is, I've had this stance for a long time, because the real estate agent controls the experience, the customer experience, and not the company. The consumer could care less about the company. And I'll give you an example. So, let's say you hired an agent. We'll just pick on Keller Williams. I always pick on them for some reason. They're the biggest. But, let's say that you had a Keller Williams agent you listed your house with and it expired. And, you were pissed off because the house didn't sell. You might still end up listing with another Keller Williams agent. Maybe one of the better Keller Williams agents in the community. You may not. If you have a bad experience with the company or an agent at a company, you might not go back to that company again. You might say, screw that company, I'm going to go to a different company. That's very realistic. But if you have a good situation with an agent, that person goes back to the agent. They wouldn't say, if you had a great experience at Keller Williams with an agent, you wouldn't say, okay, well, it's time to sell, I'm going to call Keller Williams again. You would call that agent that helped you, that gave you the great experience. And so, and that goes to, the principles behind it are, you're the brand, you own the consumer experience. And as long as they remember you and you stay in touch with them and over the course of time, they're going to come back to you as an agent. And they're not looking for the company to do anything as far as the managing the process. They don't. They don't do anything. We do it all as the agent. So, what we found over the years is that you're the brand. You want to be the brand. You want to be as promoted as the center point of the transaction and in your marketing as well. And to the extent the law will allow, eXp is you're brokered by eXp. Your brand on the sign. It should be you on the sign, and at least
your
to the
colors
extent,
even right. They said they don't even care what colors you use.
Right. Yeah. And so, it's, which is, again, that's evidence of understanding that they're agent success, obsessed, right?
Yeah.
Right. And that's, they're not trying to be the brand. It's just like Intel. You could buy a Dell or a Microsoft, but it's powered by Intel. Your business is powered by the platform of eXp Realty, is how I look at it.
Yeah. But you are the brand at the end of the day. I've explained it. Because done a couple startups in my time, and especially now with the, buyers search for their home on the internet. And when they're searching on the internet for a house, they don't know who signs on the front lawn. They have no clue, and they don't care.
Right.
And so if the buyers don't care who signs on the front lawn, the sellers don't need to care either. It's about the agent. It's about the personal brand and that personal relationship that the agent is bringing to the table. Because that's just the way the industry is now, through the advent of the technology. So, it's just that should be not something that really should stop anybody. And I had this. Well, will I get leads? Right? Because I'm at Remax, and Remax gives me leads.
Right. So I think the more important thing is being provided the technology to provide leads. So you're not either you don't have to go out and spend the $700 to $1,000 a month for a good platform, lead generation platform, and follow up CRM system. So I think that's and again I think it's a threat if your business is if somebody's giving you deals at Remax, and then they hire some more agents and they start giving those deals to somebody else, you're not in control of the business. So what we focus on is helping you to generate your own business. And it's no different than realtor.com or Zillow. I think if you're killing it on realtor.com and Zillow, you're always at risk of them changing something, and you have to go, that pillar of your business will go away, and or be diminished somewhat, and you got to go find another way. So, what we focus on at eXp is helping you build a business yourself. And we give you the technology, all the tools to do it, the ads to run. We show you how to do it. They'll even do it for you if you want them to do it for you, which it just puts you in a position of strength because you're in control of your lead gen, and you're not waiting. Your livelihood isn't based upon something that could change, something that's not in your control. So I think that's a much better place to be, and that's how eXp does it.
Yeah, and that's what I always say too. It's the old feed a man a fish or teach the man how to fish. And I've always been a proponent of learn how to fish yourself, and then you don't have to worry about where your leads are coming from.
Very true.
So, and then we already talked a little bit about broker support, admin support. Obviously that's all available with the cloud and workplace and all that stuff. So, just provide some. Let's think about providing a tip for agents that are out there. Hey Andy, what's up, man? What's going on, man? We're a new platform, so I can't tell who's watching, who's not watching. Right. So what's up, guys? Anybody, if you have any comments, please shout them out there. If you have any questions for Jay, shoot them out there. We'd be happy to answer. But what's a good tip just in general for agents that are out there today that might be struggling or might be looking to get more business? What's your best tip of the day, let's say, for an agent?
So if you're out there and you're trying to think about like what's the newest way to go get business. I'm a more strategic than I am tactical, so I'm not going to give you like a one thing that would be like a simple thing that you can do, but it doesn't like replicate for you. So like I would focus on content, and I had this conversation this morning, and we were talking about I had a lender in California. I had actually a friend of mine that had asked me some advice on a refinance, and he had built a $2 million home, and he's wanting to build a bigger one, and he's going to sell the one that he just completed. And he was needing to get kind of an interim loan type of deal to do it. And it was going to be a special kind of a loan for the kind of business he's in and everything else. And I happened to know a guy and made the connection. He's like, dude, I can't believe that they can do loans like this. This is great. This is going to help me a lot. And, I think today the opportunity to become the expert and then if I was selling real estate today, I'd be doing a podcast with that guy, just like we're doing here. And I'd be introducing that to the marketplace, and sharing content that's valuable to people that are buying and selling real estate. I think that's the best thing you could do is build a channel and a following of people that look to you for your expertise. in the marketplace. And today, with Facebook being, the center point of where I would invest most of my money, I do think there's a huge opportunity to shift over to print. Because in a recent study, it shows that people trust print marketing still more than any other medium by a pretty large number, which is interesting. So it's an opportunity to do what people are moving away from. I think there's an opportunity there, but that's not simple for people to execute. So from a standpoint of what's going to give you the most longevity, what's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, it's generating content like this. People are watching this right now. Long after we've recorded this, they'll be watching this, and people will be reaching out. And I already got word that my link was not working here on this, but I'll fix that. So whoever's watching it later will be able to go to that link. Like you can, it has shelf life. The work that you do has shelf life when you do content. And so at all costs, I would be become the expert, and I would be doing podcasts. I would be interviewing people in my community. I would be interviewing people that are experts on subjects that are interesting to the type of buyers and sellers that I'm going to be working with. And that's where I would focus all of my time. I think content is king, and the people that are focusing on that are becoming the local celebrities and the local brands in their marketplace. And I think that's going to pay dividends years to come.
Awesome. That's a great tip. And I almost want to add. I know you mentioned Facebook, but I know what my kids do. So I got triplets, 16 years old boys. And you had mentioned, your kids are usually watching Netflix. Mine are on YouTube. My kids are on YouTube more than they're on anything. And I think I just saw a post either it might have been this morning or last night that said right now YouTube is the #1 website in the world.
No doubt.
And that's where all the eyeballs are. So I haven't figured out myself how to really tap into using YouTube, but that's something that I have on my plate moving forward to really start utilizing.
Definitely. Yeah, in fact, yesterday I was with Riggs. Riggs is 6, and we were at this basically this like sports memorabilia and football card shop and stuff like that. And there was these, I'd never seen them before, but there's these little toys, and they're not very big. I can't remember, they're called pop icons or something like that. I'd never seen them before. The store's full of them. And Rick's like, oh man, I want one of these. Ryan has one of these. And I'm like, who the hell is Ryan? I don't know your friend's name, Ryan. He didn't have a friend named Ryan. So I said, who's Ryan? He said, Ryan's Toys on YouTube. And I was like, golly, what a brand, right? Like he's watching this Ryan and all those toys, right? This kid's got like, I think, I can't remember the number. It may have been in the hundreds of millions of views on video. Like, I mean, they're making a ridiculous. All they do is open toys and play with them and stuff like that. Well, my kid Riggs found it from YouTube and the content that it suggests, right? And then if he watches one and then it suggests some more, it's on YouTube Kids on his iPad. And so that's that content is valuable when you can start getting people looking at it. So the more content out there, pop sockets is what Jeff's going to say. Maybe it is pop.
That's crazy. So I know we're running up on time here, so I got one last question for you. It's actually a 2-part question. So, what's your favorite book that you've ever read, and what are you currently reading now that is a book that you think people out there should sink their eyeballs and their ears on?
So me and John Kitchens, I've got a large library of books. Let me put it that way. I'm not the kind of guy that likes to read books, and so. I would say I don't read books just to read books. I read books because I've got a problem I'm trying to solve, and I'm trying to find the damn answer to my problem. And then I'm seeking wisdom, right? And trying to find a book that's who's the best in the world and who's done this before. What am I going to learn? And I'm trying to learn kind of where I'm at and different things. So, if you asked me this question 2 years ago, I would have been probably reading something like The Hard Thing About Hard Things, Ben Horowitz, which was an instrumental book for me and pivoting our company and things that I was going through as a CEO and things like that. It was a great book. He's got another book that's out that I'm actually listening to right now, which is not as relevant for me today because I'm not running a big company full of people, but I really loved the first one so much. So it's What You Say Is Who You Are. Ben Horowitz is his follow-up book to The Hard Thing About Hard Things. And those are 2 books I would say if you're building a company and you've got 10 or 15 or more people, you probably ought to jump on both of those. But so those so again, like depending on what it is, what problem it is that you're dealing with is going to be kind of where I'm at. The most recent books that I've been reading we kind of evolved to, from a process standpoint, the book Traction really is kind of the process we use for strategic planning and things of that nature. Traction is that book. And then, because I'm in a different place in my life right now, I'm reading books from Brian Carruthers. One was the Freedom Manifesto that he wrote. The other one is, Building an Empire, which is really more about the structure of building this organization within eXp. It's phenomenal, like the best book I could have possibly read for me, where I'm at and what I'm doing.
Sure.
And then I would say probably, I don't know what else I've recently got here. Usually my list is right over here. Sean Moudry just sent me his book. So yeah, I got a couple that I haven't read. I don't recommend books unless I've read them. So, right now, the one that I picked back up again is Tools of Titans, Tim Ferriss. It's a big one. And I've just been going through it and going deeper on there's different people and
I don't know if I had a call come in. I think I might have lost my
Gotcha.
volume. Hold on a second.
I can hear you.
See if I can jump in here.
You're good, man.
I don't know if anybody can hear me, but let's wrap it up.
We can hear you loud and clear. Tools of Titans. So yeah, that's it, man. Oh, here's my last big takeaway. I would tell you: read for Revelation, not just read for Revelation.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. All right, we'll wrap it up then.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody can hear me or not. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me,
Yep.
But I can't hear you. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, you know what? That's awesome, man. I saw that book that you brought up there, the Titans book. That's a huge book, man. That probably took you a little while to get through.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely had to add that to the list. And listen, man, I appreciate your time today, Jay. And man, let's keep getting at it, man. And I'm excited to move forward. And this is all good stuff, man.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, brother. And we'll be talking again soon.